Hello, everyone. My name is Ashlyn, and I want to thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I really, really appreciate you. So, today I want to talk about trust. And this is something where I had to learn along my journey in entrepreneurship is that you're not going to always know what's next. You're not going to always know what's next. You're not going to always know how it'll happen. You're not going to always know when it'll happen or who and all of these different things. And I'm a type of person where I do like to know. I like to know what's happening and what's going on. And along this entrepreneurship journey, I've learned like, no. You're going to have to trust. There's going to be a lot of trusting, a lot of faith and believing and knowing that things will happen for you just the way that it's supposed to. So it's also a matter of releasing a certain amount of control to God or to the universe, whatever you choose to call it, so that you can let it or this power do its job. You can't control every single thing. And you have to know that you're not going to understand everything. You're not going to know everything and know every step and how it's going to play out perfectly. But you do need to be clear on what you do want. So along my journeys, I made up my mind, that I would do entrepreneurship and I would go forward with it. I'm going to believe in myself. I know I can do this. And to be honest, it's been a few months, probably about 6 months now. I've had to learn to walk by faith and not by sight. Now, for those of you who are Christians, you have heard that saying before. Now, I've heard it before too, but to be honest, I'm one of those type of people. I've heard a bunch of different things, but it doesn't mean that I was living by it or I had fully grasped the true understanding of that. And so for me, I've had to do that. There's been plenty of days on my entrepreneurship journey where I have not known where I'm going to get the money, where I'm going to get the training, how I'm going to figure this out, how am I going to get here, how am I going to go here. It's been so many times where I've literally had to walk by faith and not by sight. And for me, that statement means you know that whatever you request or whatever it is that you want, it's possible and it's yours to have. So that's the faith part. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that it's done. And it helps you to know it is because you know you're capable of it. You know that you're willing to put the work in. You know that you're willing to put in the time. You know that you're willing to take action when you get something that says, "Oh, do this or do that." You know that you're ready for that. And you have to, but the thing is that most things start inside of us. Like I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to work online. I knew that I want to inspire and help people. But it's like, okay, how do I get from here to here? How do I get from point A to point B? I didn't know. But through persistence and faith, here I am. And so I also knew that I knew this within me, even though I had yet to see it in the physical realm. So the physical realm is the sight part. So if I'm walking by sight and not faith, then I would never believe that I could be an entrepreneur and do my do online entrepreneurship. I would never believe it because if I'm believing by sight, there's nothing, I don't see it. And if I'm going around, I don't see it, it's not happening, I don't see it, then you got it backwards. You have to believe it and have faith first, and you'll see it. You walk by faith, not by the sight. And when you grasp that, you realize how powerful, again, that you are, because nothing in the physical realm determines what happens to you, really. Because it all starts with what you know and what you believe about yourself and what you're capable of. And if you can hold on to that faith, and you know that I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills at the end of the month. Not me, but I'm saying if that's an example. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills at the end of the month. You know that it's possible. There's been a way made for my bills to be paid all of this other time. So why wouldn't it happen now? I'm trusting and I'm believing and I'm knowing and I'm having faith that they will be paid, that everything is taken care of. That's the faith. Faith is like huge. And it means so much to God, to the universe. It means so much when you believe, because you understand that this physical world is just a creation of what you believe. That's it, because you hold the power. You hold the power. So I began to say that. I remember having a conversation with my grandmother, and I told her, like, through this whole process, I'm literally walking by faith and not by sight. I've truly learned what that means. Now, I'm not going to say I don't struggle with it at times, because it's not always easy. Because you're like, I'm believing, I'm trying, I'm doing everything, I'm trusting it. And it's not showing up yet. But it's really one of those things where you have to get to the point where you have faith, you trust that it'll happen, and you let it go. Because you know when you really believe, like if you know you're going out of town, you're going to Florida next week, you know that. So you don't have to sit there and think like, well, I don't see it yet. I don't know if it's going to happen. You already know it. You know you're going out of town to Florida next week. You already know. So you don't even have to worry about it, stress about it. But when you are believing it or having faith, but then you're like, it's not happening, I don't see it, that's a contradiction, because that means you don't fully believe that you have it yet. Because if you really truly believe that you have it, you really truly are walking by faith, there's no questions about it. You already know. I'm not even thinking about it. I already know. Now you may need, depends on the situation. You may need to be open to signs and different things that are calling you to take action so you can get what you're trying to get to, but you're still walking by faith. Why? Because you don't even know what the next thing is going to be. All you do and all you can do is literally take one step at a time. You take one step, then you say, okay, I've done that step. And then the next step will come to you, and the next step. But you still always have your end goal in mind. You always have I know my bills will be paid at the end of the month in mind, because that's what you're working toward. Just like you always have, we're going to Florida next week. It's in your mind. You already know it's done. If anything, you're excited. You're planning. You're getting clothes and all of this stuff. Depends on what you're doing when you go to Florida. You're planning for it. If you're going to Disney with your kids, you're planning. It's fun. It may be a little overwhelming because you got to get everything together, but still. And to me, that shows faith as well. How would you act if you already knew your bills were paid at the end of the month? How would you act if you knew that thing that you wanted was already yours? What would you do? What would you do to walk by faith? What would you do to walk in faith and not paying attention to what's going on in the world? You're not letting that dictate anything or what anyone says about it. Below, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.